Previously on The Devil on G-string.
H 君がね、ついに就職するんだって。
Yay! I don't care! Are you really giving up on this house?
そのつもりで今お話ししてるよ。
So you betrayed your family?
そんなつもりもないんだけど、結局そういうことになるね。
I'm saved.
よかったよ。
Well, I would have been saved.
ん？
But some things happened and I got reckless. And then I ended up like this. Sabaki sank into silence. You, your family, and this house are safe for now.
そうなの？
Yeah, for now. I can't make any promises for the long run, though. I shouldn't affiliate myself with her anymore. I gave up the idea of making her my assistant. The girl has her own life to live. Now that I made my decision, I shouldn't hesitate anymore. I can return her diary tomorrow. I turned back and headed for the station. Behind me, in the snow, two siblings played together joyfully.
魔王様は恋愛とかするんですか？
Doubtful. I'm not Maou.
しかしここのところバイトも休んで魔王の足取りを追っていたんですが、全然さっぱりでしてね。
Just give up then.
それでは母が浮かばれませんから。
Don't talk like she's dead.
わはは。
It's not funny.
いやいや、笑いたくもなりますよ、浅井さんには。
After laughing for a while, who saw me sporadically tensed up.
必ず尻尾を掴んでみせますから。
Save that sharp look for him then. Though I made a light joke, Usami's expression grew even harsher.
魔王は椿の家から大金を奪うという目的のついでに、私と遊んでやってくれたんです。
Hey now, you make it sound like this Maou guy was pretty sure of himself. He could have been caught by the police at any time.
ですから、身代金を株券にして保険を打ったんでしょうね。余裕のお遊びで、本来の目的を逸脱しないように。何か問題があれば、すぐにでも誘拐を中止して、雲隠れするつもりだったんでしょう。
Whatever the case, he's a maniac, which is why I have to ask. It's my turn to ask questions. Why is Maou playing this game with you?
前にも言いましたが、魔王は私を試してきたんだと思います。
That's what I'm asking. Why would he test a strange girl like you?
私が魔王の存在と過去の罪を知る数少ない人間の一人だからです。魔王は椿を、何の関係もない椿を巻き込みました。
A frightening glare filled with resentment.
許されないと思いませんか、浅井さん。
I stood against Usami's attention and provoked her with my own glare in return. Unforgivable, Usami. For some reason, my heart was calm. I unknowingly took on a dignified attitude. It was almost like there was something inside of me accepting her challenge, and at the same time showing enough confidence to say that she was not a threat. What if, as she claims, I'm in Maou? Though I knew for sure it couldn't be true, a small voice somewhere laughed and said it wasn't so bad either.
浅井カノンを知っているだろう？
Yes, of course. She's my sister. Somiya smirked coldly.
面白い冗談だ。あんな人気選手が妹ならさぞ鼻が高いだろう。
Not at all. She's actually quite a handful, you see. In fact, I was just thinking how nice it would be to teach her a little lesson. To let her know her limitations.
ぜひそうしてもらいたいんだがね。
Somiya spoke with sparkling eyes and a stiffened face. Give me the details.
お前が宇佐美遥か。
I don't know why, but Usami's face was as expressionless as a blank mask. She gave a single slow nod. Father, just... what is... why? Why would Gonzo call Usami out here?
つい先ほど俺のうちに一通の封書が届いた。
Gonzo's piercing stare was directed at Usami.
内容はざっとこうだ。浅井カノンが日本代表に選ばれた場合、カノンの母親を殺す。
Christ, just what is going on? Not only has Gonzo's existence been exposed to Usami, but Maou's at it again? And this time, it's a threat to Kanon. What the hell is this man's goal? And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play The Devil on G-String. I am quite curious to see if Devilman has anything special planned for us today, but I feel like there's a more pressing question I should be asking first. Kanon! What'd you doing standing around looking like an envelope without an address on it? Speak to me! Due in part to the winter chill, my body was stiff as a rock, as if it refused to move. Nobody cares about how stiff you are, man.
寒いね。
Get a second scarf. Yeah, if you hadn't come get me today, I would have skipped for sure.
まったく、京介くんが進級できてるのが信じられないよ。
Hello, leprechaun hair. And why are you even here, Eiichi? He had one hand on Kanon's shoulder, and their height difference was making him panic a little.
とにかく、僕はカノンちゃんの専属コーチになったから。
Oh, really now? When did this happen? Hold it right there. It's too early for your stupid antics.
カノンちゃんも了解済みだから。はい、コーチ。
Kanon, what antics are you up to right now? Care to let me in on them? Eiichi puffed out his chest and stuck his chin up in the air when Kanon called him coach. How did this happen?
昨日 A ちゃんと電話してたら A ちゃんが結構詳しいことが発覚したの。
A whole lot of shit? About what?
スケートだよ。僕はね、ペットとスケートと三国志においては誰にも負けない知識を備えているんだ。
Since when do you have such a strong interest in... Wait a minute. Did you mention an interest in figure skating before? I feel like you have, but I can't quite remember where. So what I gather from this is that these two talk on the phone regularly. Well, color me surprised. I didn't think they'd have that. I didn't think they would do that. The relationship seems adversarial, shall we say.
これからは二人三脚でオリンピック目指すんだもんね。うんうん。カノンちゃん、学園にいるときは僕の指示に従うんだよ。はい、コーチ。じゃあ僕のカバン持って。やだ。
Falling apart from the start, huh? I'm sure Kanon will be
カノンちゃん、
alright.
いつも寝てちゃダメなんだよ。
Eiichi continued his lecture.
スケートしかない人になったらどうするの？金メダル取ったらプロに転向するからいいの。だからダメなんだよ。フィギュアスケートはメンタルなスポーツだよ。人間性を養ってこそ観客を魅了するような演技ができるってもんじゃないか。
I'm no expert on figure skating, but going by what I've seen of it, it looks to me like exercising one's mind is the least of your concerns when you are trying to be a good figure skater.
でものんちゃん、A ちゃんよりテストの成績いいよ。僕はいいんだよ、男だから。男だから？
I was just about to ask the same thing.
男はね、糸の切れたタコのようなもんさ。それで女が苦労する。
HG seemed to be waxing poetic.
まあ、わかったよ。そう？うん、おやすみ。
Like every morning, Kanon was lying motionless on her desk.
ったくよ。
Oh, Kanon. You've made my 5 minutes. Because unfortunately that was not good enough for you to make my whole day. Eiichi glared at me with furious indignation. What else is new? He's always doing that.
どうなんだよマジでこの甘は。あ？おめえの妹だろうが。
My attention, maybe? Well, you gotta hand it to her. She's pretty damn good at disregarding other people's advice.
これマジでやべえよ。俺ちゃんがコーチとしてビシッと決めてやんねえと道を間違えるぜあの甘は。
Please. Kanon's mother is her coach.
はあ？
What do you mean, what? Didn't you know this? What did I tell you about putting your face so close to mine?
金崎育子はもうとっくにコーチじゃねえよ。
Huh? What are you talking about?
カノンのコーチは名将ジョージ・ヒルトンだろうが。
Really? My memory may be fragmented, but I'll be damned if Kanon wasn't getting a lot of attention recently because of the rarity of her having her mother coach her.
おめえの頭はどんだけ断片化されてんだよ。今シーズンからフィギュアスケート連合の要請でヒルトンがカノンについてんだよ。
Wait, but doesn't Kanon call Isukuka-san... doesn't she call Mama Coach? Eiichi sighed contemptuously.
いいか、おめえのそのようデフラグの脳みそにちゃんと書き込んどけよ。
Alright.
カノンみてえに才能がありそうな選手はよ、連合の指示でそれまで世話になった地元の先生から時期を見て大抵海外の実績あるコーチに移籍させられるんだよ。
Oh, is that what happens?
でもよ、ガキの頃からずっとお世話になってたわけだろ。カノンの場合は金崎育子か、愛があるわけだよ。
I get it, I get it. She's no longer her coach, but they can't just up and get rid of her. Wow, Yukuko sure has it hard. Her job was suddenly stolen from her. Is there a financial reason behind this? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. Is this George Washington guy always cracked up to be? George Hilton.
ぬりんだよってめえ、わざと間違えただろうが。
Should have guessed it was on purpose. Shut up.
ヒルトンはよ、半端ねえぞ。選手時代にオリンピックに2度出場してどっちも表彰台に上がってる。40年くらい前の世界大会では金メダル、翌年も銀。引退してからは有名選手を次々に。
I get it, I get it. He's so amazing, etc., etc.
ぬりんだよ。
I know you are, but what am I? Anyway, if Kanon's under this guy's wing, then everything will be fine, right?
まあな。
Then aren't you completely useless?
俺はともかく、お前がそれじゃ話になんねえよ。
I would argue that being completely useless would be a big deal, considering it severely limits your options in life. You really want to work on that. Me? Eiichi pointed at the spot between my eyes.
なんでてめえはそんなに興味ないんだ。妹がオリンピック行くかもしれねえんだぞ。
Well, I got issues, to put it lightly. I am interested. You're not, you liar.
普通の親兄弟はよ、とにかく気が狂うくらい応援するらしいぜ。娘がオリンピックに出るためなら学校だって辞めさせますってな勢いだ。コーチの指導に口挟むのもいるらしいぜ。
Couldn't they just show their support by just simply cheering at them or something? Because I feel like being a nuisance to their coaches would not really help them out. Seriously, man, I am interested. Who doesn't like watching pretty girls' figures skate around the ice? Well, to his credit, it is the best pun I've heard him make in recent memory. So, oh, yeah. I know, the Grand Prix of figure skating is more about the prize money and not about the title.
だから必ずしも世界最強が決まるわけじゃないんだ。棄権する選手もいるからな。
Eishi's lecture continued straight through to noon. Funny how life works. You try to be Kanon's coach on figure skating, and you end up coaching me on this stuff instead. Funny that.
なるほどですね。カノンは今後そのグランドシリーズの NKH 杯とシリーズ決勝戦であるファイナルというのを控えてるわけですね。
And the single most entertained person within a 200-foot radius has just entered the scene. Hello. For some reason, Husami had enrolled in our studies. And then at the end of the year, they hold the Japan Championships to determine the best in Japan.
でも世界大会は来年の3月ですよね。やけに間が空きますね。
その辺がアメリカとかと違うところでね、選手のコンディションにもブランクが出るってのに。
Eiichi acted irritated as if the problem was his.
で、もう一度聞きますが、世界大会に出るには全国大会で優勝しなければならないんですよね。
一応現状の取り決めではそうなってるね。
では例えばグランドシリーズファイナルで優勝しても関係ないんですね。
昨日も言ったけど、一応考えるみたいな曖昧なことになってるみたいだよ。
と言いますと？
確か全国大会で1位と2位の選手の得点差が1位の選手の 10% 以内だったらとか、そんな感じ。
それは現実的に意味のある規定なんですかね？
あるよ、もちろん。結構僅差で決まることがあるからね。
Is that so?
女子フィギュアはショートとフリー合わせて200点いかないくらいだからね。
なるほど。2位の選手と20点くらいの差をつけなければ世界への切符が確実とは言えないわけですね。
I finally understood the reason Usami was nodding so much.
ファイナルで優勝すると魔王のご機嫌もかなり悪くなるわけですか。
But if you think about it, everything's still so vague.
でしょ？何かと腹黒いんだよね。
Even if Kanon wins the Japan Championships, if she loses the finals, she might not be able to go to the Worlds unless she wins by a huge margin. So, are there any strong competitors other than Kanon? He folded his arms, posing in an uncharacteristic manner.
瀬田真紀子かね。今年になって調子いいのは。
Oh? How good is this girl?
カノンの武力が90くらいだとしたら、瀬田は85くらいはあると思う。
一騎打ちをしたらちょい危ないですね。
人気だけで言ったらカノンの戦闘力が1500で瀬田は5くらいなんだが。
圧倒的ではないですか、我が軍は。しかし人気というのはちょろちょろ変動するもんでしょ？
Well, don't underestimate people's love for the underdog.
瀬田もそこそこ可愛いからね。今まで注目されなかったのはさっきの世界大会でわけのわからん負け方したからと、バックについてるスポンサーかな。
Sponsor?
よく知らないけど、瀬田は山王プリンセスホテル所属だよ。
So, the Sano Corporation, huh? Huh? This has suddenly become quite the predicament. The Sano Corporation, the favor which we've enjoyed since the development fiasco in the Eastern District, is now our opponent. What did that sponsor do?
もちろん噂だけどね。前回の世界大会でさ、金の力で瀬田を無理やり世界大会に出したとか。
A rumor. So there's no evidence?
いや、なんで瀬田なんだっていう意見は多かったよ。連合は経験を積ませるためみたいなこと言ってたけど、それにしたってもっといい選手はいたからね。
That's enough. Is this scandal still going on?
いや、もう全然。
I may be forgetful myself, but it's still shocking how quickly society can forget these things. You'd be horrified then by present-day society's short-term memory span. I know I certainly am.
みんな、何の話？
We're talking about legal or illegal bribery of all kinds involving figure skating. Real shady stuff. Care to join? Kanon chimed into our conversation.
カノンちゃんのことを話してたんだよ。
Well, last I checked, Kanon wasn't bribed in any way. or anyone associated with her.
え、まだコーチごっこ続いてたの？
続いてるよ。君がその手に五輪をつかむまではね。
もう飽きたよ。
飽きるの早すぎるんだよ。君には集中力ってものが。
About as short as your total height ratio, maybe?
4分は持つから大丈夫だよ。
4 minutes? 4 minutes. The duration of the free skate, right?
例えばカノンちゃんはよく言われてるだろ。ジャンプはうまいけどステップシークエンスはどうなの？
それはおいおい。
おいおいじゃないよ。こっちがおいおいだよ。
だって今の採点方式だったらジャンプができれば他でちょっとミスしても平気だもん。
だから極端に言えばカノンちゃんは波動拳ができないのに昇竜拳ばっかり上手くなっているようなもんなんだよ。
Street Fighter references now? Coach Ichi's scolding seems like it'll continue for a long while. Given that Usami is a weeb, I wonder if she also is familiar with Street Fighter. The time was just past 4 in the afternoon. Usami caught me immediately.
では行きましょう。
Do you play Street Fighter? You mean to Gonzo's house?
まさか忘れてたんですか？
I was really busy yesterday.
ほう、どちらへ？
A brothel, I think. Well, I forgot that too. Well, ain't that convenient.
一度医者に行かれることをお勧めします。
My doctor and I don't exactly get along. I'm already seen one. I'll say this now. Don't do anything impolite.
礼儀作法には自信があります。
If you talk like that, you'll really be thrown into Tokyo Bay. I escorted the nervous Usami to the southern district. Normally, I would argue that you should be free to express yourself however you wish, Usami, because it's always entertaining when you do. But in this case, I very much would prefer it if you survived at least, so... Please take this dumbass's advice, I beg of you. Walking alongside the sidewalk, flanked by trees, I felt like I had wandered into a shrine.
まったく、こんなところを身代金の受け渡し場所に選ぶはずがないんですよね。
Hey, try not to dwell on it too much. With that bitter look on your face and all that hair, you look like someone straight out of a horror film. Your freaking face is a horror film. However, Sami were just a little more familiar with Tomenbetsu City's geography, then she might have understood what Maou had been trying to do.
物々しいくらいにリッチな街並みですね。
As Usami just pointed out, these are all luxurious buildings, and I can pretty much guarantee that you won't find anything that's not protected vigorously by a fence and a locked door. Shiratori lives around here somewhere.
そういえば、ここ最近休んでますよね、彼女。
It's probably because her family situation is so complicated. As we aimed for Azai Gonzo's estate, thriving green trees and luxurious buildings fit for life's champions passed us by.
うわ、これまたいかついっすね。庭に池のある家とか初めて見ましたよ。
Be quiet for a second. After announcing my arrival through the intercom and the short silence that followed, I heard the housekeeper's voice.
やっぱり神棚とか日本刀とかあるんでしょうね。
You're honestly probably right about that. She looked like a kid that was about to go out for a picnic. This is Kyosuke. I brought Usami Haru with me. As I spoke through the door, I heard the sound of a drawer being moved, as if something was being closed.
入れ。
Azai Gonzo sat in the spacious Japanese-style room. So, hello, Daddy. Looks like he was in the middle of writing something. After seeing us, he put down his pen. Hey, greet him. I patted Usami slumped back.
手前、小国と欲しますわ。
Idiot! I told you to greet him. Now introduce yourself. She seemed to be sinking into panic.
続けろ。お前は何者なんだ？
An uncertified genius? Gonzo, with a discerning gaze of judgment, looked straight into Usami.
自分は、その。
黙れ。
はい？
どうも京介から女の、それも至極上等なメスの匂いがすると思ったが、お前だな。
自分はこんな髪型でもお風呂には毎日入っていまして。
Gonzo didn't speak, and my spine was frozen.
頭くせえとか言われるヒロインじゃないんで。
You really must just ignore every time Kyosuke insults you, huh? Not that I can fault you. Usami looked terrified, but she was talking in her usual manner. In the end, Gonzo just said,
面白い女だ。
I don't know why, but he said it in a whisper. There was a hint of a smile at the corner of his mouth.
そうやって京介をたぶらかしているわけだな。
いえいえ、まさか浅井さんとはまだお手手もつないだことも。
死に損ないの匂いがするぞ、宇佐美春。恐縮してるふりを見せているが、腹の底じゃ極道なんて少しも怖くないって面構えだ。
それは
目線を外しているようで相手の様子を探っている。それが証拠に、お前はついさっき俺が隠した拳銃の場所を知っている。後ろの棚が気になるか。
Now that he mentions it, I heard the sound of a drawer closing before we entered. As familiar as I feel like I am with Usami's observational skills at this point, something tells me that her surprise reactions here are actually genuine.
確かにそちらの棚をチラ見してたのは認めますけど。
Call it a gut feeling.
ではなぜ3段ある棚の一番下だけを見ていたんだ？音だろう。最下部は一番重い音がするからな。だいぶ音感も優れているようだ。
Usami froze for an instant and then straightened her posture.
これはどうも本当に恐縮しました。
So I guess I was wrong? She squeezed out a low voice, one completely different from what she had used up until now.
無礼は魔王を捕まえたら帳消しにしてやろう。
では担当直入にお願いします。魔王から届いたという封書を拝見させてください。
Gonzo nodded and retrieved a brown envelope from his jacket pocket, slapping it down on the table. Usami picked it up.
魔王。
There was no deep meaning behind her spoken word. It was simply the small word that was written on the back of the envelope.
中を見させてもらいます。
She took a white letter out of the already opened envelope.
手書きですか。
To the monster and my beloved hero. I suspect there will be many victims. As long as I, Kanon, aims for the Olympics. I've released a certain murderer into the wild. Let's call him Mephistopheles. I totally butchered that. That's the devil who appears in the play Faust. That creates a connection with Goethe. He already took the life of an unfortunate man last night. Those around Kanon will continue to meet their end, one by one. Kanon's mother in particular will not be an exception from the murder list. If you intend to lend your ears and heed my warning, force her to throw the upcoming NHK trophy. Otherwise, A new sacrifice will be taken at 9 o'clock, the night of the last day. One piece of advice. I doubt that I need to worry, but in the event that you inform the state of this, my retaliation will be severe and relentless. P.S. I use those stock certificates as tissues. Maou. I lowered my head and finished reading alongside Usami.
どう感じた？
やけに汚い字ですね。
As Usami said, the letters are all crooked. Maybe he had someone else write it. It was like a small child had written it. It was messy, full of peculiarities, and even gave off a bit of an eerie feeling.
まさか手書きですか？
手袋でもして書いたのか。指紋は残していないようだがな。
That's assuming he actually wrote it himself. Usami's point was interesting. A lot of attention will be paid to the calligraphy of a threat letter. Normally you'd think he would glue down newspaper clippings or type it on a computer. Anything to cover up his handwriting.
わざと雑に書いたんでしょうかね。
But even then, if the police looked into it deeply, wouldn't they be able to uncover some kind of trend?
あるいは。
Usami sank into silence, knitting her brows. Anyway, from the contents of the letter, has someone already been killed?
昨日の夕刊を読んでないのか？
Pardon?
あるデザイナーが死んだ。カノンの衣装を手掛けたこともある。
My condolences to the costume designer. How did he die?
自宅マンションの階段から足を滑らせて頭を打った。目撃者はいない。争った形跡もない。事故の線で進めていると話を聞いた。
Push down the stairs would be my bet on what happened. Did Maou push him?
消印ですが。
Well, he does like pushing people. She spoke up in a small voice.
市内からだな。
当然、この手紙が投函されたポストの周辺は洗っているのでしょう。
徹底的にな。
Usami tapped the letter of her finger.
さらに、この国という文字ですがね。
In the events that you informed the state of this.
気づいたか？
これは、現体制に不満を抱いた人たちが好んで使う漢字ですね。
今付き合いのある組織を通してできる限り調べている。だが連中は自分たちの思想に共鳴しない人間には鎖国的だ。時間はかかる。
That means Maou has some sort of political ideal, and there's a chance that he belongs to such an organization. Possible, I guess, considering what he seems to be involved with and who.
どうも考えがまとまりません。浅井さんはどう思います？
About what?
何でもいいからとにかく喋ってください。ワトソン的な発言を。
I have no idea what Watson-esque means, so I'll just say whatever. Don't you read Sherlock? Well, could it be that Maou hasn't received any higher education?
ほほう。
If only. For instance, isn't punctuation strange? I point to the sentence that sparked my reasoning. He already took the life of an unfortunate man last night. Kanon's mother in particular will not be an exception from the murder list. Here, wouldn't it have been easier to read if it were last night he took the life of an unfortunate man? Kanon's mother in particular will not be an exception from the murder list. This part's just bizarre. Shouldn't it be Kanon's mother in particular will not?
なるほどなるほど。
Also, lend your ears and heed. I never heard anyone speak like that. There's gotta be some kind of clue I'm not seeing in the sentence structuring. I don't think it's just a lack of proper writing skills that's to explain this.
ですよね。
Again, call it a gut feeling. This girl irritates me somehow. Doesn't she always?
ちなみに浅井さんも国語は苦手とか。
Aren't you bad at it too?
アインシュタインもです。
That's a terrible argument.
差し当たって今やるべきことは被害予定者のリストアップだと思うのですが。
もうやっている。
Gonzo passed a piece of paper from the shelf behind him to Usami. It's a long list. The notes included the designer that had already died, Ikiko-san, Coach Hilton, the choreographer, and the staff from the competition.
自分と浅井さんの名前もありますよ。
It's because we're close to her. If you're not careful, you might be next. Somehow, I doubt Devilman is going to off Usami, or try to anyway. At least at this stage. I have a feeling, given what I've observed so far, he's the sort of man who would save taking out his arch enemy, so to speak, right at the end of his game, right when he thinks he's won it all. Just to basically rub it in her face. Just strike me as that kind of guy. Naturally, Gonzo's name was on the list as well. Of all the names listed here, Kiko-san is the only one that we know will be targeted.
これは頂戴してもよろしいでしょうか。
Gonzo agreed to Usami's request.
できればこの脅迫状もお願いしたいのですが。
いいだろう。
ありがとうございます。封筒もセットでお借りしますね。
She picked it up carefully with a handkerchief and put it into an empty folder in her bag.
では失礼します。何かわかりましたら浅井さんを通してご報告します。
I said my goodbye along with Usami.
あ、すみません。最後に一つだけ。
She turned around.
このことはカノンには。
もちろん花さん。
ですよね。
が、人の口に戸は立てられん。そのうち知られてしまうだろうな。
カノンのオリンピック出場を決める全国大会は今から2週間後でしたっけ？
There are 2 more tournaments between now and then. Usami lifted an eyebrow, surprised.
長期戦になりそうですね。
Just like yesterday, Usami was following me. You aren't scared of Gonzo, are you?
え、何の話ですか？
Don't play dumb. You were just pretending to be scared.
いえいえ、ゴンゾーさんは私を買いかぶっていましたが、昨日は完全に卵を抱えたペンギンのように固まってしまいましたよ。
Are penguins frozen while they carry eggs?
ただ確かに今日お会いしていくらか気が楽になったのは本当です。あの方は恐ろしいですね。平静さと荒々しさを兼ね備えている上に相対していていつも監視されているような不気味な印象も受けます。
Now try living with him for the better part of through the better majority of your childhood, and well, yeah. Little wonder that poor Kyosuke here is as emotionally stunted as he is.
ただ、なんでしょう。無意味な暴力は振るわないというか、こっちのお肉が美味しそうに見えなければ襲いかかってこないというか。利害関係が一致している限りでは心強い味方だなと思いました。
I hold a similar viewpoint.
それはともかく、浅井さん。
She suddenly stopped.
浅井さんはこの事件をどう見ますか？
What do I think? I considered it for a second. Well, we're talking about a pre-murder notice here. I guess I'm mainly just worried about Kanon.
カノンはどこに住んでるんですか？
It's a place near the arena.
お母さん、育子さんと二人暮らしですか？
Why do you ask?
カノンはお父さんであるゴンゾーさんと一緒に暮らしていないことに何の疑問も感じていないんですか？
I'm not sure. She doesn't... I don't think she's entirely unconcerned about it, but she's never mentioned it before.
ゴンゾーさんが暴力団の親分であることも知らないんですか？
I don't think she knows. Or maybe she just doesn't care.
カノンは変わった子ですね。
You too, Usami.
自分が愛人の子であることにも、父親の職業にも疑問を抱かない、オリンピック候補の学園生ですからね。
Well, at least that's how it appears on the surface. It's what's under the surface that I'm interested about. Well, when you put it that way, I lost my words.
何にしても、人の命がかかっています。
Yeah, someone has already died.
警察は頼れないでしょうね。
If you secretly went to the police, Maou and Gonzo would both snap.
脅迫状を警察の専門家の方に預けてみたいものですが。
I shrugged. Hey, look on the bright side. The Mafia doesn't need a search warrant or anything. Without all the red tape of the police, they can mobilize and go into action a lot quicker. Usami flashed a wry smile.
あまりお近づきになりたくない方々ですが、今後力を貸していただくことになるのでしょうね。
We arrived at my apartment as we talked.
ではこの辺で。
You can't let Kanon know about this, no matter what. If she knew that her mother was in trouble, it would affect her performance for sure.
カノンは明日から学園も休みですよね。大会前ですし。
I think so. Was it the NHK trophy that's coming up the day after tomorrow? Usami nodded lightly.
さて、引きこもって手がかりを探るとしましょうか。
Her back slumped, and she walked away. After taking a bath, I sat in front of the computer. Strange things have been happening ever since Usami transferred here. Oh, come, lovely child. Oh, come thou with me, for many a game I will play there with thee. Just when was that mysterious email sent to me? For some reason, I feel like I've been getting too many visitors at night recently. Is it Tsubaki?
Yahoo! 兄さん
Well, my second guess was going to be Usami. Kanon.
開けてよ
Her big eyes were glittering. But for Kanon to show up now, of all times... Whatever. I'll just let her in for now.
やあやあいつ来ても兄さん家は広いね
Well, that's because it is. Lots of space. She came in without a single sign of courtesy. Have you been here before?
Huh?
Oh, wait, I remember.
なんだよまた忘れん坊なのか
Duh. Why are you even here? The competition's coming up in 2 days. A shocked expression snapped through Kanon's face.
兄さんが大会の日にちを覚えてるなんてどういうこと
Now that she mentions it, I never had much interest until now. Just when was the last time I saw her compete?
何かやましいことでもあるんでしょう
No, I just got a little devil hovering close by, trying to hop on my shoulder and just, make life miserable for everybody around me. You know how these things go, right? Got a little devil that likes to hop around and ride on your shoulder too? Stare at me like that. She has some really scary intuition.
まさかバッキーかウサミンと付き合うことになったのか
Well, in an alternate universe, I went out with somebody. Don't say something so stupid. Did you come here just to ask me retarded questions?
お泊まりしに来たの
Why? She said it like it was nothing. What? Are you serious?
マジ
Why?
なんとなく
I felt another headache coming on. There's only one bed.
らそれはのんちゃんのもんだ。
I just said there was only one.
一緒に寝ればいいんだってば。
Listen to yourself. Now, how can I put it in a way Kanon would understand? Sleep on the couch, maybe? Isn't it important for you to be in your best condition before the competition?
別に夜更かしするつもりはないよ。ただこれから寝泊まりさせてもらえればいいの。
Wait.
あ、お風呂も貸して。
I said wait.
あと、着替えるときは隣の部屋に行ってください。
Wait, damn it! What do you mean from now on? Are you seriously planning on sleeping here from now on?
朝ごはんはしっかり食べるからね。兄さんの手料理がいいです。
Your blood type's B, isn't it?
大型だよ。
Oh. Now that's a shocking revelation.
周りとの協調を重んじるタイプです。
That they do? Look, can't you go somewhere else?
やだよ。のんちゃん友達少ないもん。
You can thank that calamitous personality of yours for that one.
バッキーは大変そうだし、ウサミンの家は知らないの。
What about Eiichi?
A ちゃんちはなんかやだ。あとは兄さんだけなんだよ。
You sure there's no issues going on at home or something that you're just trying to keep hidden or something? Come on, talk to me. She looked sincerely troubled for a moment. What, did you... I'm getting a little worried. Did you have a fight with Vikiko-san and run away as a result? That so-called clash between athlete and coach.
全然。
She's starting to piss me off.
兄さんの邪魔はしないよ。
I have a feeling that's a promise that's going to be impossible for you to keep. Call it a gut feeling.
朝早く出てくし、夜は遅く帰ってくるから。ね、いいよね。
I really wish you would tell me what it is, what the hell it is, what the real reason is that you're coming here. But you know what? Fuck it. I get it. Good night. I deliberately sighed in front of her.
ありがとう、兄さん。
Casually, maybe even slovenly, she laughed.
なんだかね、今回の大会はちょっといつもと違うの。なんていうか、不安？
You must sense the devil nearby. You really do have good intuition. Uneasy.
勝つのは分かってるんだけど、プレッシャー？
Pressure? You? Really now?
っていうことにしてよ。無理やり泊まりに来た理由。
I guess she's just here because she wants company. There's one thing I should tell you. I stared firmly at Kanon's unwavering smile. You must never go into the study. Got it?
はい。
She didn't ask for any particular reason. Kanon couldn't care less about things that don't interest her. It's like she's trying to make more time for herself by forgoing the trivial things.
兄さん肩もんで。
Well, looks like things are going to start getting pretty bizarre around here. You're probably not wrong about that. I mean, although to be fair, things were already very bizarre the very minute that we hit start on this whole thing. Kanon had promised not to disturb me, so I wasn't expecting to be rudely awakened so early in the morning. You should know better.
おはよう、兄さん。
She's already changed. It's only 5:30.
のんちゃんは今から出勤です。
Some of us were trying to sleep here. How about using a little consideration, huh?
ねえ、朝ごはんは？
There's still some pasta left over from last night.
やったー、ありがとう。
She sure is loud. Damn it, now I'm wide awake.
ねえ、兄さん。夜中まで誰とお話ししてたの？
Kanon interrogated me as she loaded pasta into a plate. What do you mean?
電話してたんでしょ？
It had to do with work. I can't even remember who it was. Did it keep you from sleeping?
全然。
Oh, good.
そんなことより、のんちゃんミートソース苦手。
Shut up and eat.
やだ。
This is the first time in a while that I've cooked you food. Are you seriously not going to eat it?
だって前から嫌いだって言ってたもん。兄さんがまた忘れてたんだ。
Are you sure about that? You're not just using my bad memory to deceive me?
のんちゃんは人に嘘はつかないよ。
You're not nice to them either.
そんなことないよ。兄さんの分もちゃんと取り分けてあげる。
How considerate of you. Don't bother. I'm not hungry.
黙れ、食え。
I just woke up. My stomach isn't feeling too good.
せっかくのんちゃんがよそってあげたもんを食えんのか？
Don't you echo my words back at me! What a noisy morning.
見送り大義じゃった。
No problem.
ついでにスケートリンクまで送ってくれたまえ。
No thank you, milady.
ござるとか言うなよ。
One of us has to be. Why is it that every time I try to crack an innocent little joke, I get made fun of? Because you're bad at it?
ストーカーがいるんだよ。
That's a scary thing to say. That's why you're here. Someone's stalking you.
いきなりカメラ撮られたりするの。練習帰りに会場の外で待ち伏せしてたこともあるよ。
You are a celebrity after all. You should be aware of your status.
え？
Her eyes shot open.
のんちゃんが悪いっていうの？
No, it's not like that. It's just that you're an attention grabber, so it's natural for them to stare at you.
別に怖いことされなければ写真ぐらいいいよ。でもねちっこいのは嫌。ねちっこい人が悪い。
I understand. I'll tell Papa about it.
もう言った。
Guess that guy's already dead. How morbid. Don't ever tell Kanon that she may very well have played an indirect role in getting somebody brutally murdered and sent to the bottom of Tokyo Bay, will ya? Alright, look. I'll walk you to Central Boulevard, and you can take a cab from there.
ありがとう。
After Kanon got in the cab, I finally let out a breath. God damn it. I can't stand this anymore. My headaches are getting more frequent, too. Why did I come to Central Boulevard again? Right. I had a therapy appointment with Dr. Akimoto. Am I alright? No. It was still early, so I wasted some time reading a newspaper at the cafe.
やけに顔色が悪いね。
He hardly ever looks well, are you kidding? Dr. Akimoto was sitting in front of me, wriggling his obese body. Must be real jiggly. Jiggle jiggle. I didn't sleep much last night.
寝てない。寝られないのかい？
Well, my sister came to stay with me in the middle of the night.
じゃあ寝ようと思えば寝られるんだね。
Seems that question was somehow important.
しかし、君の妹さんはすごいね。僕も応援していると伝えておいてください。
Duly noted. Sure. I went along with it, rather uninterested. Dr. Akimoto leaned towards me.
さて、前回はどこまで話したっけ？
I think we were talking about my first love.
ぜひ聞かせてもらおうじゃないか。下手な冗談は身を苦しめるよ。
He gave a smug smile.
お父さんの話だろ。
Can we avoid that subject? I turned my face away. Sweat coated my hands, and I tightly gripped the glass that he passed to me.
鮫島京介くん
What?
睨まないでくれよ
I hate that joking attitude of his. I'm trying not to think about that anymore. I wouldn't be able to go on otherwise.
だろうね
What do you mean that's true? My lips were quivering. Are you really a famous doctor? Can you seriously treat patients with this provocative attitude? Yeah, Akimoto was very calm.
だって君はちゃんとした患者さんじゃないんでしょ学園をサボる口実を作るためにここに通ってるわけでしょ
This fucker. You're absolutely right. So why don't we give this up and just chat?
君は目立つのが大嫌いだろ
What makes you bring that up?
散々世間の注目を浴びたわけだからねそうか人の目が怖いか
I finally realized that he completely had the upper hand in the conversation. Look, I know next to nothing about my father. I don't want to know.
面会にも行ってないのかい
In my ears, these words were Dr. Akimoto reprimanding me. In my heart, I heard his screams calling me an unfilial son. Not even once. My heart was beating too fast to support life. No, I did go once with Mother. When I was a child. But I didn't say anything.
お父さんになぜあんなことをしたのか聞いてみたいとは思わなかったのかい
I was silent.
京介くん
I stopped talking and made an effort to freeze my heart. My mind wandered back to the beautiful snow dancing beyond the window of that dilapidated home my mother and I once lived in together. I lingered there until the cold in my memory had numbed my heart entirely. And then, there'd be no point in asking.
Hmm?
Why would I need to know what drove my father to kill 4 people? Say what?
京介くん
For the first time, Akimoto's loose expression broke. Because I was smiling. However, I don't need to ask him to know the answer. I understand why he did it. No, I'm the only one who truly understands. If I didn't, his actions would have been in vain. Dr. Akimoto furrowed his brow. There were people who needed to die, and he just followed through.
京介くんそれは違う
No, you and your ilk are the ones who are wrong. But I won't say anything anymore. Trying to explain my father's instance to you all would accomplish nothing. I'll show you firsthand. All you have to do is watch. Dr. Akimoto suddenly stood up. There was a clear shade of confusion in his eyes.
今日はここまでにしよ
Oh? But we weren't even 20 minutes into the session.
う診察料は特別に割引してあげよ
That's great to hear. I waved my hand and casually walked away. Very interesting little remark you just said. Sounds like something I'd expect out of Maou.
Kanon がいないと和むぜ
Aw, got tired of being her coach. Ain't that the truth? School's so serene.
なんだよ遅刻してきた分際でよ
Don't I do that all the time? Eiichi was having the time of his life.
今日はよ宇佐美の野郎もいねえしマジやりたい放題だぜ
Usami's not around, huh? I guess I won't be getting my answer about the Street Fighter thing today either. Uh-huh.
手始めにカノンの机に賞味期限が明日までのお菓子を入れておいた
How could you? Only a monster would do something as petty as that. Huh?
するとどうなる？あいつはしばらくスケートで休みだろ。帰ってきた時には食えなくなってるわけか？こいつは困ったな、兄弟。
Won't she just throw them away and go on with her life?
しかし、京介ちゃんよ。
Yeah?
そろそろ宇佐美に復讐しないといけないんじゃねえか？
What happened a couple weeks ago?
ほら、あの職員室に忍び込んだ時のことだよ。
Good times. Good times. For Usami and I. Oh, yeah. That time we stole the keys?
あの時は奴のせいで俺たちの完全犯罪が暴かれたわけじゃん。
No, you just sucked at your role. Oh, please. No matter how you want to skew things, you dug your own grave with that one.
どうすっかな。どうやって地獄を見せてやろうかな。
Thanks to Devilman, I'm sure she's had plenty of tastes of hell to last her a lifetime. Even though there was no way he'd be able to come up with anything, he still acted like he was thinking hard.
ね
Hey, Shiratori!
あ、白鳥さん、こんにちは。
It's really rare to see Shiratori on the roof. Yo, Shiratori. The incident about the school seems to have calmed down a bit. By the incident, I mean the incident in which Shiratori's father, the director of the school, was suspected by both society and the police of accepting bribes.
私は興味ないから。
How could you not be interested in that?
浅井さんのことだけど。
When she says Azai-san, she probably doesn't mean me, but Kanon. What about Kanon?
あなたに用はないわ。
She glared at me.
相沢くん、チケット、どうやって取ったらいいの？
ビスケット？なんちゃって僕甘いもの大好きだからね。
気持ち悪いわ。
だとこ
インターネットで手に入れられると聞いたんだけど、やり方がわからなくて。
Oh, how wonderful it must have been back during when the internet was still this relatively new. How innocent we all were as a society, comparatively speaking.
いつのチケットがいいの？
明日の。
明日のはもう無理だよ。当日券しかないね。
当日券は直接会場まで行けば買える？
まず無理だけどね。
そう。
Maybe she was simply finished with her questions, but Shiratori turned around and left. Hey, wait. What did you want to go for?
別に。浅井さんに来てって言われてたから考えてみただけ。
She didn't even turn her head around. Damn, what's her problem?
同感だね。あいつは俺を怒らせたよ。
Eiichi and I sulked under the cold sky. The Sulk Brothers. Well then, what time should I get there tomorrow?
本当は昼から全部見てけと言いたいところだが、カノンの出番はだいたい8時過ぎくらいだ。それまでには来いよ。
Tomorrow's a short program, right?
ああ、あさってのフリーの方が本番っちゃ本番だ。
Throw the upcoming NHK trophy.
じゃあな。
I watched Eiichi leave and remembered the threat letter. There's no way she'll lose. After all, Kanon has no idea that the letter even exists. Gonzo must have reinforced the protection around Yukiko-san. What's Usami up to? I made up my mind and gave her a call, but no one answered. What should I do? How can I stop Maou's violent acts? It still doesn't really feel like any danger is approaching. Maybe my determination to catch Maou just isn't as strong as that of Gonzo or Usami. I wonder why. Even though one person has already been killed, my sense of justice hasn't been provoked. Maybe I'd only feel uneasy if someone near me was hurt. Yet if it really came to that, it would already be too late. There was a beautiful feeling in the air, like a revolution was about to begin. The devil, Mephistopheles, was sitting at a bar in a secluded alley along Central Boulevard, waiting for Maou to call. The clock's hands pointed to 8 exactly. Mephistopheles put the battery into the cell phone. The time had been arranged by Maou. I really should just look up the proper pronunciation for that name later. He had explicitly told Mephistopheles to get into the habit of taking batteries out of phones. It's much more difficult to be tracked if one does so. The devil at the bar had received Maou's letter 3 days earlier. Mephistopheles was a representative of the Great Japan Revolutionary School and had put the office address on the website, making it public without concern. The first words of the letter read, "I want you to kill a certain person." Even a date and time had been specified, along with a meticulously detailed plan for murder. At first, he believed it to be nothing more than a prank or trap set by the communists. But after reading further about Maou's advocacy, reprimanding corrupt politicians in the Fourth Estate, his interest was piqued. Even though the punctuation was carelessly atrocious, and the writer seemed uncultured, the letter's passion had touched Mephistopheles. And through the last night's phone call, he had confirmed that they were indeed comrades. He called himself Azai, but had added, "Just call me Maou." Maou announced that he had killed a man. He'd pushed him down a staircase. He'd hidden himself in an obscure place, waited for him to come back home, and shoved the man when he wasn't looking. Even though the methods weren't complex, as long as there weren't any witnesses, it would be hard to place it as anything but an accident. Mephistopheles asked him why that man had been marked for death. He liked the answer. Because he was a homosexual. Mephistopheles shared that belief. Great Japan has no need for such weaklings. Upon asking, he discovered that the victim had been a clothing designer. Supposedly, he publicly announced that he was a homosexual and had received widespread media attention because of it. He was definitely a man that deserved to die. Mephistopheles saw Maou as a man with decisive feelings and the courage to act on them. He was happy to find another individual who worried for the future of the nation. The call came, but the receiver kept silent.
Maouか.
The man waited to speak until he could confirm Mephistopheles' voice. Such care is to be respected.
いい夜ですね。
His voice sounds quite young. But nationalism has nothing to do with age.
我々の力を借りたいのだな。
一人より二人の方がより祖国のために働けます。
殺すのだな。
改革に犠牲はつきものでしょう。
手紙にあったお前の計画は完璧だ。
Maou laughed to himself.
計画は完璧だが、まだ私のことを信用なさってはいないようですね。
どうしよう疑うつもりはないが、こういう話は腰を据えてじっくりとしたいものだ。ひとまず一度会ってみないか。
申し訳ありませんが、お断りします。
なぜだ。
お互いの顔を知らぬ方が、公僕の目も欺きやすいというものです。
He had a point. Just giving the impression that everything was done independently would be enough to send the police investigation in the wrong direction.
しかし、あなたのお気持ちもわかります。もう一人、殺してみせましょう。それで、私が本気であることを理解していただければと思います。
誰をやるんだ？
外国人です。我が国に彼らの住まう場所などないということを教えてやらねば。
心意気は称賛に値する。英霊たちもお喜びになるだろう。
Foreigner. The only person I can think of is Kanon's coach. Because last I checked, isn't he someone who's overseas? He seems to be an intelligent man. His will also seems to be strong. There's even a hint of insanity in his cold words. The problem lies with Maou's background. In other words, if he had such a bold plan, why does he still need me? As a fall guy, essentially. A useful pawn. Maou spoke, as if reading Mephistopheles' mind.
私はこの殺人の末、声明文を寄贈して堕落した日本人に訴えかける所存です。しかし、私は個人で動いている。今の政治では少数意見は必然的に無視されるものです。私は真に信頼できる同志を求めていました。威厳ある組織を。しかし、どの政治団体も手ぬるい。どいつもこいつも口だけです。もはや話せばわかる時代ではないというのに。
His speech suddenly became firm, and his next words shook Mephistopheles' heart even further.
あなたは違う。あなたのウェブサイトに掲げられた主張に確信した。あなたは英雄だ。私の声明文を託せるのはあなたしかいない。
As if desiring to suppress his climaxing emotions, he took a gulp of water. A beautiful feeling in the air, like a revolution was about to begin.
一人殺すと言ったな。
明日です。
詳しく聞こ
う。ええ、夜は長い。
たっだいまー。
Hello, loud one. Have you finally decided to make a trip to Canada and bring back syrup? Late that night, Kanon returned to my apartment. So you're really staying here. Did Akiko-san and Mr. Hilton give you permission?
ヒルトン先生はあんまりプライベートに関わらないの。日本語もあんまりできないから、なんか気が楽だよ。
Akiko-san said it was okay.
オッケーだって。明日は車で迎えに来るって。
You know, I just had a thought. If Mr. Hilton bites the dust, it's going to be pretty damn difficult to keep Kanon in the dark over what's going on, considering that this is her coach we're talking about. This could certainly make things complicated. It's good to hear, but my body was a bit stiff from the cold, so I went to the kitchen to boil some water. Would you like some coffee?
兄さんのコーヒーは美味しい。でも砂糖は入れないでください。
She's probably being mindful of what she eats.
兄さんって暗いよね。
Why so rude all of a sudden?
何考えてたの？
I was thinking that if you win, someone will die. I was thinking about how cute you are. I tried shrugging my shoulders. I thought she would make fun of me again, but Kanon's eyes just sparkled.
本当？ 2回目だね、兄さんに好きって言われるのは。
He did not say that at all. I didn't say I loved. Wait, the second time?
兄さんと会って最初の頃。
I called you cute when we first met, huh? Oh, yeah. I have a vague memory of it. At the time, I had just learned that Kanon was Gonzo's daughter, and I wanted her to have a good impression of me. So you flattered her, huh? I don't really remember it. Maybe I said she was cute, or that I liked her or something.
のんちゃんは、のんちゃんが好きな人が好きです。
Can't believe she took it so seriously. Of course, I don't hate her or anything, but...
兄さんはネクラで嘘つきだけど、のんちゃんのことは大好きです。
Yup.
じゃなかったら頼んでないのにコーヒーとか出してくれません。ご飯も用意してくれません。
Do keep your antics in check. Dumb thing to say.
なんか元気出てきた。明日はすっごい点数出しちゃうぞ。
It's good that you feel well. Why don't you do a quad jump next time?
あれはもうやめた。
Oh?
今日のテレビ見てなかったの？のんちゃんインタビューで4回転しないって宣言したんだよ。
Really? It's too bad. Everyone was looking forward to that. What do you always call it? A trump? Kanon shook her head like a puppy.
あれはやるもんじゃないよ。男の選手でも腰と膝にズシーンとくるらしいよ。
You mean the rest of the performance was really wobbly after that?
Yes!
I didn't quite like that. Won't your popularity suffer, Kanon-chan? That sounds like something Aichi would say.
みんな新しい技が大好きだからね。
She bit her lip, talking as if it were a painful problem.
でも心配ない。結局勝てばいいから。
Can you, though? According to Coach Aichi, your fundamentals aren't that great.
ジャンプに比べればの話だよ。
Your jumps, huh?
4回転を狙わない分だけトリプルをきっちり決めるから。
She's got a point. If her quad jump fails, then it'll lead to trouble. It's easier to guarantee a high score if she just does a good triple. Just promise not to fall, alright? When scare jumps, even the audience gets nervous.
あれれ、兄さん知らないの？のんちゃんはジャンプはジュニアの時からほとんど転んだことないんだよ。
Wow.
アクセルはちょっとやらかしちゃったことあるけど、序盤のコンビネーションジャンプなんかは一度も転んだことないんだよ。
I felt like she wasn't really taking things seriously. Okay, but what about that Seta Makiko girl? You're not the only Japanese skater in good condition this year.
今日一緒にインタビューされた。瀬田さんかわいい。でも勝つのはのんちゃんなのでした。
Too bad my ass. Aren't you being a touch overconfident? I asked her, dismayed. Just because you haven't fallen before doesn't mean you'll never fall. Well, you probably jinxed her now, genius. Kanon suddenly got quiet. I also closed my mouth. She was obviously unhappy, yet she forced a smile.
転ばないよ。
What? I drew in a breath.
私が負けるわけがないの。
The light shining from her eyes as she gazed at me was something I'd never seen before.
5歳の時からスケートやってるの。バレエも習った。みんなが遊んでる夏休みに合宿にも行くの。CM にも出させられるの。わかるかな？
In the face of that frozen expression of hers, I didn't even dare to breathe. Behind those repressed words were absolute confidence.
瀬田さんはインタビューで私のことをライバルだと言った。そんなこと考えてるから勝てないの。余計なこと考えたらダメなの。私は普通の学園生であることを求めなかったし、パパが怖い人なのもどうでもいいの。パパと母さんが一緒に暮らしていないのも理由があるんだろうけど、あえて聞かないの。ショックを受けてる暇なんてないから。兄さんもそう。いろいろ隠し事があるみたいだけど、聞かれたくなさそうだから私も興味を持たないの。どうすれば得点が伸びるのか、私はそれだけを考えてる。
That emotionless speech forced my posture to straighten. His powerful, daunting eyes resembled another pair I'd seen somewhere.
去年の故障を心配するような声もあるけど余計なお世話。テレビの人は視聴率を取るのが仕事。私も数字を取るのが仕事。誰よりも高い点数を取って観客をあっと驚かせてあげるの。感動したければすればいい。握手もサインもしてあげる。 そんなことより、勝利の瞬間がたまらないから、何千、何万回と練習してきた。
I'd forgotten.
わかった、兄さん。
This girl is Azai Gonzo's daughter.
明日は来てね。それが本当だって教えてあげる。
Just as I wade casually through school, the arena is the place for Kanon to show her true self. After finishing what she wanted to say, Kanon reverted back to her bashful expression of a few moments earlier and went into the changing room. But I was rooted in place, unable to return to reality. Tomorrow, I have to go whether I want to or not. That fearless smile. That gaze, oozing an excess of confidence. It was inside that crowded arena that I realized the true essence of Azai Kanon.
Number 46, Azai Kanon, Nippon.
Enthusiastic applause exploded from the spectators' seats. In the middle of this thunder, Kanon leapt onto the ice. Tracing a semicircle along the wall, which had been plastered with advertising banners, she stopped in the middle and threw the judges a flirtatious smile. The arena was covered in an almost suffocating silence. Her face was shining on a giant screen installed on the inner wall. Her expression was entirely foreign to the Kanon I know. It held a challenge. Her tightly pursed lips, with the calculated application of makeup, stood out beautifully. A sense of power radiated from her. It was something that a person who knew the ordinary Kanon wouldn't be able to imagine. She lowered her stance, putting that uncharacteristically long right arm at the top of her left leg, almost like she was grasping the hilt of a sword at her hip. The sensation that she's about to go to war isn't too far-fetched, given the situation. After the dance-like woodwind intro, Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries began playing. In the opera cycle Der Ring des Nibelungen, the Valkyries hold a task of guiding fallen warriors to Valhalla. Those young ladies, also sometimes called shield maidens, don their armor, flourish their swords, and ride their winged steeds toward the battlefield. As the horns and bassoons came in, Kanon charged across the ice with the courage of a true Valkyrie. Damn, she's fast, I thought. It's on a completely different level of speed than the others. It gave the illusion that the rink had become smaller. Just when I thought that she was going from one end to the other, she took a casual curve and turned to skate backwards faster than my mind could follow. A violent sound, threatening to grind the ice into powder, exploded, like the hooves of a winged horse striking against the earth. Following that, Kanon's limbs spun in the air. She jumped, high, floating in the air, almost like she had grown feathers herself. Kanon said there was no way she'd fall. And sure enough, as if the gods had determined it before her jump began, she came down in a perfect landing. The blade, like the axis of a gyroscope, held Kanon steady as she elegantly spread her wings like arms apart. After finishing her series of continuous jumps, Kanon was bathed in applause. Even though I don't really know just what kind of jump it was, I'm pretty sure that it was difficult and worth a lot of points. Even I could tell this was an extremely artistic jump. Several had attempted this jump before Kanon, but each one had landed with too few rotations and spun around after the fact in order to appear to succeed. Kanon's jumps are simply longer than the others. Her bullet-like speed enables such acts. But it seems from watching it on TV that the faster one goes, the harder it is to maintain the jump timing. Although if one just glides slowly into the jump, no one's going to applaud. Balancing the right height and distance together is likely next to impossible. The players who failed at their jumps could attest to that. The second jump was also completed with almost no effort, and Kanon's assault continued. She began a step sequence of showy choreography. The captivating performance she was giving of her upper body was enough to steal all your attention, but if you managed to tear your eyes away, you would see that her legwork was just as smooth. She did a delicate turn on one skate while maintaining her speed. Those elegant and excruciating correct steps bore the grace of a warrior princess performing a sword dance. The third jump. She launched herself while gliding forward. Shards of ice spewed forth like dragon's blood. I thought that she was just bragging, but after seeing her in action, I was more than reassured. Not a single fleeting thought of her falling entered my mind. After a wonderful landing, Kanon was enveloped in the abnormal passion of the arena. However, it was not the shrill sounds of cheering from before. They were sighs of admiration, gasps of astonishment. The sounds of praise, the lot of them, yet born out of awe bordering on fear. Absolutely bewitching. On the screen, Kanon's visage was visited by a ghostly aura. The girl in that image would kill any foe who dared to turn his blade against the gods. Hearing Ride of the Valkyries usually reminds people of the movie Apocalypse Now. I have to finish that movie. The lieutenant colonel, with an eerie cheerfulness about him, assaults the Viet Cong village from the skies, with the blaring Ride of the Valkyries as his partner. The composer, Richard Wagner, was a rather similar case. There's no doubt he left a big impact on musical history, but his infamy will live on forever. He had a self-centered, indulgent personality and believed that it's only natural for everyone to invest in a genius such as himself. There was a period of time that he was very intimate with Nietzsche, and their ideology would hurl them both into the modern world through the Nazi Party. He was a genius and a tyrant. Amidst the mysterious spectacle of the enchanted arena, the Tyrant of the Ice decorated the finale of this musical masterpiece. Ending with a tordonic rotation, Kanon put on her ending pose. When the music ended, and the crowds remembered to breathe, a thunderous applause exploded throughout the stadium. The entire arena burst into a standing ovation. Before I realized what was going on, I was also standing and clapping. In 2 minutes and 40 seconds, she generated enough force to grab everyone's hearts. Her scores, clearly, were also on a separate level from the others. Obliterating those before her, Kanon achieved the top rank in a single breath. The spectators were boiling over with delight. They had probably been touched by a beautiful rebirth after the disaster last year. They don't know the real Kanon. She was in the so-called kiss and cry, the place where skaters await their results. Her face was on the screen. Kanon beat her personal best, but she did not jump for joy or hug Coach Clint Hilton, who was sitting beside her. She just wore a calm, stoic smile. Stoic. A reporter pointed a microphone at her. Kanon said only one thing. No more than a whisper. It was almost like she was using all her energy to contain her powerful joy. almost like she were conceitedly saying, "Of course I won." Hey there, Sue. Well, 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 if it isn't Eiichi-san.
いやいやいや、京介ちゃんよ。
I met up with Eiichi and Tsubaki outside. The outside air cooled my skin, and it felt excellent. What's up with you telling Kanon her steps are bad or whatever? I thought she was pretty awesome. You still think that after seeing the real thing?
やっぱり俺ちゃんがきつく言ってやったからかな。去年までのカノンと別人だわ。
Yeah, that's what it was.
ゾクゾクしちゃったよ。
I found the musical selection to be particularly excellent.
私もそう思った。最初は怖い曲だなって思ったし、いつもニコニコしてるカノンちゃんには合わないような気がしてたんだけど。
だんだんハマってきたと思ったらいつの間にかこれしかないみたいな気分にさせられたわ。
Eiichi seemed to be overly excited, as he was beginning to talk like his real self even in front of Tsubaki.
やっぱりヒルトンは偉大だな。コーチが違うとこうまで変わるもんかね。
Well, Kanon's gonna have to get a change of coach soon, I'm sure. If my prediction over what's gonna happen to this poor bastard is right. There's really that big a difference?
違う違う、去年までのカノンはよ、なんつうの、どっちかっつうと可愛い系で売ってる系だったのよ。
I had no idea.
元コーチの金崎育子には悪いけど、カノンにはああいう悪魔系が似合うよ。
ちょっと怖すぎたけどね。でも、ああいうカノンちゃんも素敵だよね。
If you look at her physique closely, she's tall with long limbs. She looks like a foreigner.
なんかの記事で読んだけど、ガキの頃からバレエやって体柔らかくして飯も自分で管理して食ってたらしいぜ。
If things keep going like this, she can easily win tomorrow's bout, too. But suddenly, Eiichi frowned.
ああ、それなんだけどよ。
What?
明日のフリーな。フリーのプログラムはあんまり評判良くねえんだわ。プログラムっつうか、曲か？
Oh? Really? Since today was Ride of the Valkyries, would tomorrow be an excerpt from, Eroica Symphony or something like that?
そう思うだろ。でも何考えてんだか知らねえけど、今日のショートとは180度違う曲調なんだよな。
Look, just tell me already.
マニアのお前ならわかると思うけどよ。
Bach music? After Eiichi eventually told me the title of the piece, even I was confused. Isn't that a bad idea? What's it called?
だろ？今日のイメージじゃねえよな。
でも、カノンちゃんはそれでこの前のカナダ大会は優勝してるんだよね。だったら大丈夫じゃないかな。
Well, maybe I'll find out what the song is in the next practice thing. I agreed with Tsubaki's opinion. Kanon's technique is incredible. Why would the choice of song affect her score in any way? If I had to guess, it's because she'll have to tune her skating performance to the flow of the song.
無理んだよ。スケートはよ、芸術だぜ。得点を決める要素には曲の解釈って項目もあるくらいだ。実際前のカナダじゃその辺がだいぶ弱かったらしいぜ。
Yeah, basically I was right then. Then why doesn't she just change the song?
だよな。なんでまたあんな曲なんだろうな。噂によると元コーチの母親にまだ義理立てしてるって話もあるけどな。
あたいくんはそういう話しないの？
そうだよ。何か聞いてねえのか？
Not at all.
お前ら本当に家族なのかよ。
Eiichi was thoroughly disgusted.
じゃあまた明日ね。
京介もちゃんと来いよ。
Yeah. Maybe I'm being a bit cold, but Kanon can achieve her goal whether I'm there or not. Today's performance verified that fact. The audience's cheers don't mean all that much to Kanon. Just as Azai Gonzo relies only on himself, Azai Kanon has a firm belief in her skills. There was indeed another death. It was 10 o'clock that night. Mephistopheles had reached the docks in the Western District. The flashlight he had brought shone on the blackened blood. It formed a thin line on the old gray asphalt, and droplets continued on toward the dark waters. A single stab to the lung, and then thrown into the sea. He remembered Maou's cold voice. The winter torrents around this area are quite powerful, so the corpse should have drifted far away by now. There could be no murder investigation if there's no body. His name would merely be recorded on the missing persons list, 90,000 annually and counting. Maou emphasized that part of his murder plan. Just like Maou had promised he would, Mephistopheles found a driver's license at the edge of the boardwalk. He picked up the bloody card to check the name. He was satisfied. This Westerner had been employed as a ballet dancer. Japan had its own proper traditional dances. I bet it's Hilton. In order to correct the American cultural invasion after last century's great defeat, people like him must be eradicated from this nation. Maou is a person I can rely on. His battle spirit was already boiling. It just wouldn't do to fall short of Maou's expectations. Oh God, who saw me? Suddenly, a voice spoke up behind him. Mephistopheles immediately hid the bloody license inside his jacket.
すいません。
He slowly turned his head around and beheld the ghost before him. It met the flashlight's glare. Mephistopheles stepped back in surprise.
危ないっすよ。
The sea was behind him. The ghost extended its hand and stepped forward. Stepped? When he looked closely, he realized it was simply a girl with extremely long hair. She seemed to be enrolled as a student somewhere, and she wore a school uniform with a ribbon on the front.
女学生がこんな時間まで何をしている?
How deplorable. Girls are getting worse by the year. Why don't they realize that the improper things they're doing, such as wandering in the night, are precisely what's making the crime rate go up? She'd be partially to blame if she was attacked.
何をしているんだ貴様?
いえ、この辺はちょこちょこ来るんすよ。考え事をしているときは特に。いえ、この先にちょっとした見栄えのする場所がありましてね。
She spoke in mumbles, completely indirect.
昔大好きな人とお別れした場所でしてね。この街は変わってしまいましたけど、この辺りだけは大して変わってないなと懐かしんでいたんです。
名前を言え。
藤原紀香です。
The girl looked at him dimly through her bangs.
藤原。今が何時だかわかるか? おい。
11時くらいですかね。
子供は家で寝てる時間だろ。
一応18歳以上なんすけどね、これでも。
She said in a joking manner.
そんなことより、お怪我はありませんか?
怪我?
ええ、足元に点々と。
She must be talking about the blood.
私は知らん。ジョギングをしていたら、ふと気になって調べてみた。
はあ、そうっすか。
She sighed, as if exhausted.
私は帰る。お前も夜更かししないで、ちゃんと帰宅するんだぞ。
お気遣いありがとうございます。
It didn't fit her creepy exterior, but she bowed deeply. Mephistopheles passed by the girl and walked away.
ちょっといいですか?
Being called, he stopped.
ミヒャエル・ユグムントさんとよくお会いします?
Mephistopheles opened his eyes wide. He knew that name well. That man now laid at the bottom of the sea. Okay, so I guess I was wrong. That wasn't Mr. Hilton.
誰だって?
ですからユグモントさんです。バレエの先生ですよ。今話題の浅井カノンに指導したこともあるんです。
そんなやつは知らん。
The girl, disappointed, drooped her shoulders. He suddenly felt a wave of uneasiness wash over him.
なぜ私にそんな話をする？
いえ、ジョギングされてたんですよね。っていうことは、この辺にお住まいなのかなと。
So the foreigner lives here too. His sense of suspicion grew ever stronger. Why would a girl that he'd never seen before talk to him about a dead man?
自分あの方のファンでして、もしあったらサインもらっておいてください。
いいだろう。連絡先を教えろ。
マジっすか？やったわあ。
The girl, without a shred of wariness or worry, told him her cell number. Just a coincidence? Mephistopheles said goodbye to the girl with the innocent smile. In any case, he has a way to contact her. He can get rid of her quickly if anything happens. At the bar, as always, Mephistopheles called Maou immediately.
死体を確認した。見事なものだな。
これで私を信用していただけましたか？
もちろんだ。
He gave a firm answer. He was now well aware of the seriousness backing the young man on the other end of the line. It was time to initiate the revolution.
では、明日だな。
手順通り9時にお願いします。
分かっている。二度も殺人を犯したお前の計画だ。きっと完璧なのだろう。
I wouldn't be so sure. A drink was set before him. He worked hard to suppress the urge to shout out for Maou to click glasses. After hearing about her, the woman they had discussed seemed unforgivable to him. She was supposedly a figure skating coach. Oh no. Woman, figure skating coach. Hopefully it's not Ikuko. In the past, she had been a great player who had even participated in the Olympics. But after retiring, she began to live a depraved life. Her name was Kanesaki Ikuko. Oh, fuck me. She published a book criticizing the very skating association that brought her fame, and there were even rumors about her having illicit relations with a member of the Yakuza. At her prime, she had a lean and beautiful figure, but she's put on weight since then. She doesn't care about her income, instead choosing to live a disgusting life by leeching off her daughter's prize money. She's the worst kind of parent. If even one such mother disappeared from the earth, the future of education would be ever brighter.
何か質問は？
Unexpectedly, Maou posed his question. Mephistopheles took a moment to consider. He remembered the face of the girl he had just met.
やはり顔を見られたら殺した方がいいのか？
いい質問ですね。
He sighed, as if impressed.
場合によります。
というと？
目撃者というのは非常に厄介な存在です。特徴を覚えられた場合、警察が最新鋭の機器を使ってかなり正確なモンタージュを作成します。
下手をすれば私の顔が交番や地下鉄にばらまかれるってことか。
しかし、
He stopped for a second.
目撃者というものは大抵の場合、事件の光景よりも事件で味わった感情を記憶しているものです。犯人の持っていたナイフが恐ろしかったとか、警官の発砲に耳が割れそうになったとか、そういうことは覚えています。
なるほど。周りと同化してしまえということだな。
もちろん、あなたが大層な肥満であったり、鼻の下にブドウのようなほくろがあるのなら話は変わってきますが。
安心しろ。酒は好きだが、ビール腹には縁遠い。
Mephistopheles was an ordinary, tired-looking man. Perhaps a bit on the tall side.
とはいえ、目があったら殺した方がいい。
目か。
目は最も感情を伝える部位の一つです。あなたの瞳に異常を感じれば、相手はきっと忘れないことでしょう。
So try to keep your face as hidden as possible.
なら、もう一人殺しておかなくては。
Mephistopheles opened his mouth only after taking a large swig.
実は、さっき港で妙な女に出くわしてな。幽霊かと思ったよ。ただの女学生だったが、膝まで届きそうなくらい髪が長かった。
Amazingly, Maou didn't say a thing. Unable to stand the silence, Mephistopheles continued.
藤原とか名乗ってた。海に沈んだ男のファンらしい。連絡先は聞いておいた。なんだ。
There was no response. Perhaps he had mentioned something that angered Maou. Perhaps he had an idea of who that girl was.
ぜひ。
After a long silence, Maou spoke quietly, almost to himself.
ぜひ殺してください。
Mephistopheles sensed murderous intent from those words, though only for an instant.
その少女こそ、あるいは最大の敵です。
Oh, great. That's not good. I hope that, Usami's place of residence has some traps set at the door or something, just in case someone tries to break and enter. Otherwise, I'm going to be a bit worried for her.
ただいま。
Well, I was right that things were going to get complicated, but, well, not quite in the way I was expecting. Instead of Hilton being targeted, it's Kanon's mother that's apparently going to be targeted, and on top of that, Usami is now officially in danger too. Not quite what I was expecting. I'll be very curious to see how this all plays out. But for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut things here. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of The Devil on G-String. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.